I got camera one started. I can see the light. Let me turn this light on right here. See the light from camera two. I'll cut you on last because you turn off after 12 minutes and put Miko in. Make sure we can be seen from here. Damn. Funny how the world. So right as I'm setting up to do my video on Maleah Davis, I receive a Twitter notification, not even from a human being, just I guess the news is so big that Twitter sent me the notification that Desmond Etika Amofa lost his life. Now it hasn't been 100% confirmed of how he died, but many are already speculating suicide. This literally happened. So like the tweets and everything right now as I sit here, they're saying 20 minutes ago. So this is fresh that we find out that this kid lost his life. So I'm speaking to three different kinds of people here. I'm speaking to John Chrymes fans. I'm speaking to fans of Etika, and I'm speaking to pretty much everyone out there about possible suicide prevention, because whether that's the cause or not, this is a reason that we should discuss it in the first place. So, for those who don't know, Etika was a large Twitter and Twitch streamer and YouTuber. They said together he had about 800,000 followers, and he's been on the platform since around 2012. And he has a lot of fans, and he blew up basically on YouTube and Twitch streaming games. But he had a energetic, magnifying personality that people love and generated towards, no matter how controversial he may be at times. So with his following, I think around December or November, sometime last year, he was showing some bouts of mental disability, whereas it looked like he needed some kind of mental help. And they received that as he was taken away to a facility to receive this help. Comes around 6 months later, and he gets into it with a police officer, and they go to give him some help. Again, he goes back to the location. I think this is around April sometimes. But I guess the slight little controversy is a couple weeks ago, he was making claims that, he's going to leave here, and people are thinking that he's joking or it's a hoax. But he goes missing, and his they said that his computer monitors are missing. I don't know that for certain. You guys can check in the comment section or check out the videos. I only want to talk about stuff that I know, but they're saying that the computer monitors. So if I tell you guys, I'm going to leave Earth or something, I'm going to do something to myself, and then people come down to my basement and my computer monitors are missing, I don't know, does that mean that I'm doing a hoax or not? But my biggest thing with this whole thing is this one story is just showing me like how social media, we rush to pick sides to go against each other. We care about these sides more than what is actually going on, which is a human being could have lost his life. And I'm speaking at the time when we didn't know for certain if he died, since he just reported they found his body floating in a body of water some 20 minutes ago. So the sides where he's joking and he's playing around with us. So if you believe him, you're gullible, you're stupid, blah, blah, blah. And the other side is he's passed away and you guys are insensitive to not take this serious. I heard about this. And anything goes on with a YouTuber missing, people are going to come tell me. You haven't heard me speak on this because I don't have the facts. I go by evidence. I go by facts. If I don't have it, I sit back. I'm not in a rush or in a need, especially as something serious as someone's life, that I need to be the first person to put something out here or say something. If I have some speculation, I'll talk about it in private with a friend, as we normal people do. But for me to sit down in this chair and present something to you, I want to have the facts of the situation, especially over someone's life. And it saddens me now. Like literally, you saw me on camera receiving the news that this guy lost his life. And before I can sit down in this chair, there's tweets of people posting the other side's tweet saying, you didn't think that he died. Look at you, you stupid. Like, wait, you like him that much. Where's the RIP? Where's the tweet showing you valued his life or how much you're going to miss him? Shouldn't that be first? If my child goes missing right now and someone thinks that I'm joking, that my child isn't missing, I'm not coming out here and say, I told you my child was dead. No, I'm thinking about my child. Or I'm thinking about my friend. Or I'm thinking about somebody online I look up to, like, man, they lost their life. They're gone. The last thing I'm thinking about is, and I told you so. And it saddens me how social media allows us to do this. Because if this guy would have been joking around and he was not dead, that's still a phase. It's still a step to me towards suicide. He's been in a mental institution twice in the past 12 months. And he goes and does this. It's just a step closer to him going to do the real thing anyway. So if he would have been faking it, he would have done that. Instead of you guys would bash him in videos like, we need to get this guy some help, instead of him being dead right now, dead. And now we're posting the suicide hotline. You gotta wake up, people, man. You gotta wake up. To the Joy-Cons, the true fans of Etika, do 3 things for me, you know? Go put out the happiest memory you had with him. Put out how the greatest time he made you laugh or he entertained you during a downtime in your life. Put out suicide prevention. Put out the suicide hotline. But most importantly, go out there and help somebody. You see somebody else down online, don't jump onto something to pick on them. And everybody else, make sure you got the evidence before you speak on something. That's all I have to say on this, man. Salute, Etika. Now to Maleah Davis. Saturday, Maleah Davis was finally put to rest after what seems like a month-long mystery. And this is what I want to talk to you all about today. Her case, what happened, and what could possibly happen in the future. For those that don't know, 4-year-old Maleah Davis is the daughter of Brittany Bowens. They live in an apartment complex in Houston, Texas. Brittany dated a guy by the name of Darian Vince, and Darian Vince is believed to have murdered the 4-year-old girl. So let's get into the circumstances of what took place. On April 30th, we don't know specifically what time, but Darian Vince sometime early that morning took Brittany Bowens to the airport because a family member passed away. From Brittany's interviews, it seems like there was some sort of turmoil with the funeral, as she explains why she didn't take her daughter with her.
People wanted to know, why did you leave your kids with Darian Vince when you went to your father's memorial?
I didn't pay for my ticket. My aunt did.
So you're saying you couldn't afford to take them with you?
Exactly.
Could you not have placed them with other family members? Your mother, an aunt?
My aunt doesn't live here.
What about the Davis family?
The Davis family, Peyton went. Maleah could have went too.
And why didn't she?
They should have asked for her. I didn't even know that they wanted to come get Pey. They told me last minute.
So when you left, you had no concern that Vince could or would harm your child?
No.
And later on, as she explains why she left her daughter with her boyfriend.
Were you comfortable leaving town with your children with Darian Vince?
Yes, because in my mind, whatever we had going on had nothing to do with the children.
Given something we're going to get into shortly. But I want to try to stick with the timeline first and then go back in and fill that in with details. So sometimes really early in the morning, he took her to the airport and he took Maleah with him. The camera shows at 7:45 a.m. on April the 30th, Darian walking back to the apartment complex, to the apartment with Maleah Davis. Now, I want you guys to look at this footage. Look at it again. Look at it again. Now, you got that footage in your head, right? All right. All right. I have 4 children. 14-year-old daughter, 7 and 5-year-old son, and a 2-year-old daughter. I have never in my entire life, ever, not once, not 1 second, I have never walked in front of my kids. Ever. I'll do you one even better. My oldest child, my 14-year-old girl, she's the baby girl on her mother's side. So her mother had other children when we were together. When I was with her mom, her other children that were not mine, they got treated the same way my daughter got treated. As long as we're together, I give my life for your children. They are my children. That's a role you must accept when you get with someone that have kids. I have never in my life walked in front of those children either. It is weird to me, and I'm sorry, it's even more weird when you're a guy. How can a man walk with a 4-year-old girl behind him trailing? I need to see what's going on at all times so I can protect you. I don't know if this came from nature. I don't know if this came from nurture. I don't know what it came from. I can say this. When I was really young, I went to the movies and I saw a movie by the name of Pet Sematary. Not that new crap that's out there right now. I'm talking about the original Pet Sematary. And it's this iconic scene in the film where a father is flying a kite with a little boy. This man turns for what could have been no more than 5 seconds. And as he turned, the little boy tried to chase the kite. The kite got closer to the road and a truck hit the little boy. And I was traumatized in the movie theater. I was as traumatized as the guy was screaming. I couldn't believe it. Maybe that stuck with me. I don't know what it is, but I will never. And if you look back at the picture of Maleah walking behind him, you look a little bit behind Maleah, you see the concrete out there. Like it kind of reminds me of that Pet Sematary scene. It's like, I don't know if that's a sidewalk or what it is, but something could be coming down, a kid on a bike going really, really fast, or a truck or something could have hurt Maleah. So even if you, a parent is not committing murder, you're not really protecting this girl. You got to be careful and look at the little things when you choose who you're going to date, especially having them around your child. That goes for women and that goes for men as well, too. You got to be careful with who you have around your child. And we're going to get more into that. I don't want to rant a little bit long here, but just seeing this one photo alone, I was like, why is this dude? That shows me he has no care or concern for Maleah. I'm sorry, it just does. Okay, so later that day, on April the 30th, he leaves the apartment by himself, right? And then we skip to May 3rd. On the way to May 3rd. We're going to go back and talk about what happened between April 30th and May 3rd, but let's just skip for the timeline's sake. May 3rd. May 3rd. He's shown leaving that apartment with a clothes hamper basket thing with a plastic garbage bag, garbage bag inside of it. Now, that was the first thing I saw in the case. I'm skipping through YouTube or whatever. That's the first thing I ever saw. And when I saw that guy, I didn't know his name. I didn't know the circumstances. I just saw a little girl was missing. A little girl and guy walked inside the apartment. When the guy walked out of the apartment with that bag, I said, she's in the bag and she's dead. She's in the bag and she's dead. I figured everybody who saw this felt the same way. Somehow. Okay. That's at 1:47 p.m. on May 3rd, right? So then he leaves, and then he comes back around 6:45 p.m. So at 6:45 p.m., the security cameras, they don't catch him coming in. They catch him leaving again, and he's leaving with his 1-year-old son. So if he were to have killed her in that apartment, he killed her around his 1-year-old son. Crazy enough as it is. So it is May 3rd, 6:45 p.m. He leaves. Now, May the 4th at 11 p.m. at night. The next day, so about 24 hours plus 5 more, I don't know, like 29 hours later, he shows up at Sugar Land Hospital and at Sugar Hill Park Hospital, and he says that he was hit over the head and knocked unconscious during this time as he pulled over, and 3 Mexicans in a blue truck saw him. Said something was wrong with the car. He tried to fix it, and 3 Mexicans saw him. It's him, his son, and Maleah, but the 3 Mexicans are only looking at her, and these 3 Mexicans decide to hit him over head and take Maleah. This isn't the movies, guys. This is, when did you see something like this in real life? I don't know what's going on with criminals these days, but like, the alibi is becoming weaker and weaker by the decade. You got to put some real thought into what you're saying, because you only have one brain. You have one single brain. Do you understand what I mean when I say you have one brain? If you outsmart the Houston PD, you know what they're going to do? They're not going to say, you got over on us. You were going to let you have this murder. No, they're going to call the TBI, Texas Bureau of Investigation. You outsmart them and call the FBI. You're going against all these intelligent people, some with degrees and long history in law enforcement, as they put their collective experience brain together to figure out your dumb alibi. You have one brain. And that's why I don't understand why people do stuff like this. Like, is it really worth it? I mean, it's alibi-ish, but I don't even want to call it alibi-ish because it's so weak. Now, I did a little bit of research. He said this was on the corner of Greens Road and 59. So I looked it up. There's a Citgo, it's a gas station right there. Plenty of cameras all around to catch him or to see if they saw a blue truck or anything. Now, what I didn't check, what I know the police officers are going to check, I didn't check where was he supposed to be headed to, and is this a normal route for him to go there. I did plug in their address, and I plugged in where they would later find the body. They would later find the body in, I think, Fulton, Arkansas, a city in Arkansas, which takes about 5 hours and 15 minutes on the shortest route, about 5 hours and 55 minutes on the longest route. However, he had 29 hours to get up there, get rid of the body, and come back. But we'll get more into that later. So he's at the hospital May 4th. He's saying this concocted bull trash alibi story that no one is buying. So by May 5th, the cops who don't believe this insane lie that Darian Vince has come up with sends out an Amber Alert. I'm sorry. Now, Amber Alert literally goes to everyone. Some high school student in Washington State getting ready for cheerleading practice. Her phone is going to go off. The same as me, an armchair detective in Atlanta, Georgia. That's how powerful an Amber Alert is. You think Darius Vince was ready for an Amber Alert? Not only do you got to worry about Amber Alerts, the following next day, Texas EQ Search has got involved with the case. Now, this is a voluntary organization that sends horse-mounted people out to search for lost victims. Horses. Also on May 8th, we have helicopter units searching for Maleah. This is why my slogan is always, don't kill, make a sandwich. It's not being funny. I'm being for real. You just substitute sandwich, whatever small trivial thing is that you like in life. This is what Darius Vince could have been doing. He could have been doing this with Maleah. All he had to do was just be a good father, a good stepfather, and wait there and take care of this beautiful young angel. Take care of her until her mother comes back from her family member's funeral. I think it's her father. Just sit there, make a sandwich with her, give her peanut butter and jelly sandwich, play games with her. Do things that normal people do in life instead of committing murders. And now you got horseback mounts, you got helicopters, and you think that your one little tiny brain is ready for all of this? This is why we call murders senseless, because it's literally senseless. So after all of this goes out, a guy by the name of Quanell X, he is an activist, and he joins Brittany. Let me go back. But by this point, Brittany Bowens is back in town. Now, it was weird to me she's back in town. She goes back to her mother's house with Quanell And she says that she's a little suspicious of him, but not.
The very day that she went to the airport, picked up by her friend, she leaves out the house believing Maleah is at the daycare and didn't even know he had snuck her back in the house as she walking out the door. What you doing, brother?
This is understandable given the information that I've given you all so far. So let's do a little bit rewind in the timeline and let's go back. Something very important that I haven't told you guys, and that it was reported through child services about 6 months prior to this that Maleah had fallen downstairs, and that's what the case was closed at. She fell downstairs, and this was such a traumatic injury that she had to have brain surgery. Brain surgery on a child that small. She fell down the stairs. Okay. So she says that she's maybe a little bit suspicious, but not really that much suspicious. And she starts to get suspicious when his family starts to hide him away from everyone.
When he started hiding from me.
Hiding, like just wouldn't come home?
Just, no, when my suspicion grew Monday after he had been released.
Mm-hmm.
And he did not want to talk. His family wouldn't let me talk to him for whatever reason.
So then she gets with this activist by the name of Quanell X. Now, to me, Quanell X is a bit of a narcissist, but that's not the most important thing. I will say that he has been successful at getting people to confess. That should be most important over anything, no matter what your personality is. It's just a little annoying, you know? On an interview, all he talked about was how he did this.
That man who murdered that beautiful young girl and had him for 19 hours. And they couldn't get nothing out of him. And the man met with me for 23 minutes and told me the entire story. They had Randy Sylvester, who killed his 2 children and burnt them up in a suitcase, lying, saying somebody had kidnapped them over a drug debt. They had that man for 2 days and got nothing. And it took me 3 hours. I knew Brother Hatter. I knew if I could just get to him. I knew if I could just get to him and sit down with him, I would get it.
I just think it's great that you did those things, but most people who do stuff like that, they don't go back and demand that people give them their props for it. They do it for the kindness of the heart, and they do it for the victim's family. That's all I'm saying. But throw all that out of the way. He is good at getting people to confess. However, he's with Brittany Bowens on her side as she's doing her interview and answering questions about Maleah Davis. Now, he says that she answered something that was not truthful in this interview, and so he cut ties with her.
I said, Brittany, how could you cover up child abuse for that man when she admitted to me that he was beating that baby with a belt when she was sick? I said, Brittany, he whooped this girl when she was sick. She said, yes. I say, how could you, knowing that this man was whooping your daughter when she was sick, knowing that this man beat her so bad one time, you wanted to take this child to the emergency room, but you chose not to, and he talked you out of it. You get naked pictures he's sending to another man, and you want to break it off with him. You're ending you all's relationship, so you're telling him via text messages. You got all of this madness he's done to this child before it's time for you to go to your father's funeral, but yet you still leave your baby with this man?
Not only did Darian abuse Maleah, but he also, during that time from April the 30th to May 3rd, when she came back in town, he was caught sending nude photos to another male. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we have established some form of a motive. He's arguing with his girlfriend, and who's threatened to show this, and this is not going to be good, especially in the Black American community. He has a history of beating Maleah so badly that she had to have brain surgery. And this woman left her daughter with him. And this is her reasoning for doing so. Now, if I did a deep dive into this story, I would want to go into Britney's past. I would want to see what leads up to stuff like this. If I turned this into a real documentary, because, what if I did a video like this on Vera Joe, and I just would have said what happens to Vera Joe and why would Sherry do something like this? We did a deep dive. We understand the psychology of Sherry Brooks. I want to understand the psychology of Brittany Bowens to allow a man to stay with her daughter like that. That would be very important to me. So, Quanell X got him to confess. He got him to confess that it was an accident. And so he freaked out and he took Maleah Davis's body as she accidentally died. He took it to Arkansas and he put her off in the woods off the side of the road. And when they recovered her body, it was determined that people who cut the grass had ran over the bag, which mutilated the body at some point. And the bag was cut and ripped in shreds, and it was bones inside. Such a senseless killing for such a beautiful young girl. And this is where we reside today. Vince has been charged with tampering with a body. And one of the reasons they're doing this is because they don't want to charge him with first-degree murder or second or whichever murder until they have something more concrete on him. To me, the given history and the past, and with the mom who can go on trial and testify against him, that should have been enough. I've seen the grand jury indict people on less, and I understand their fear. Their fear is that when the mom goes on the stand to say that he did these things in the past, they're going to ask her, why didn't she take up for him? Why did she take up for him? Why did she cover for him? Why did she leave her daughter with him if he did those horrible things? And it's going to poke holes in him. But especially in a state like Texas, I think a jury just going to look at her mom as being stupid, irresponsible, and should bear the burden of why her daughter died, if not having something else to do more with the crime. But I don't think that that's enough that 12 jurors in Texas would say that guy is not guilty of murder. I think that they have more than enough. But I am totally fine with them taking their time to make sure that they prosecute him, because he's going to be in jail for some years anyway for tampering with the deceased body. So I'm totally fine with them making sure that they get the job correctly. I just think that they have enough as it is. I feel so bad for Maleah's biological father. He seems like a nice guy who really, really cares about his daughter, and how they use lack of finances to keep him away from his daughter and some other means. And it's horrible in these situations. It scares me going through real life, because you don't have any control over who the person dates after you guys split up, break up, or go through a divorce. You don't know who they're going to date or who's going to be around your child. You're really helpless in that situation. You see a lot of my videos where I say mother is the name of God in the eyes of children. Maleah worshiped her mom. I don't even know their relationship, but just because she's a 4-year-old girl, I know she worshiped her mom and trusted her mom. And if this guy beat her that badly, then there would have to have been some part of Maleah that was afraid when her mother left to get on that plane. She left her there. More to this story is Quanell X is saying that other people should be arrested and more evidence will come out with time. We will see what's going to happen with this case. But just such a really, really sad case. Guys, and my heart goes out to Maleah's surviving family members. That's it, guys. Next time, I think there was another case similar to this in Washington, D.C. I'll get into, and I'll also try to get into my case that I'm doing, that I film in New Orleans next. But as always, as I end my videos, don't kill, make a sandwich. It's not a game. It's not to be cool. I mean it. Don't kill. Don't commit crime. Don't do anything that will take you away when there's so much beautiful things that you could be doing in the world.